Hello there, I am Tommy Taco, and welcome back to my franchise. This will be the May Summary Show where we will take a look at the standings and statistics from around the American League and National League. As you can see here, the Yankees are in first place over the Tampa Bay Rays and Boston Red Sox by 4.5 games. We just completed a quick managed session to close out May. Went 2-2 in those games. Let's take a look at the standings from across the league. There's the AL East that we were just looking at. Now we'll head to the AL Central, where the Twins have a 5-game lead over the Indians. The Royals still hovering around 500, followed by the White Sox and Tigers. Tigers looking a little better this year after an atrocious year last year. On to the AL West, the surprising Angels are leading the AL West by 3 games over the Houston Astros, and the Oakland Athletics are off to a slow start, under 500, 9.5 games back, followed by the Mariners and Rangers. If we go to, we'll head over to the league leaders for the American League. Batting average is Jorge Polanco at 385, followed by Bregman and Soler. At the end of April, if you remember, Soler was leading all the Triple Crown categories, so he's cooled off and he's only batting 350. Carlos Santana and Mike Trout round out the top 5. Soler leads in hits. Andrelton Simmons leads in at-bats. Alex Bregman leads the American League with 22 doubles, followed by Mondesi and Trout. Willie Adames is tied with Austin Meadows and Danny Santana for the league lead in triples. Nelson Cruz has 23 home runs to lead the AL, followed by 18 from Jorge Soler, 17 from Sano, 17 from Judge. For our New York Yankees, as well as Carlos Santana, Mike Trout, and Yordan Alvarez, all tied with 17. Trout leads the league in RBIs, followed closely by Soler and Nelson Cruz. So Nelson Cruz having a big season for Minnesota. Anthony Rendon leads the AL with runs scored. Stolen bases, we have D. Gordon, which comes as no surprise, leading the American League with 20 stolen bases, followed by Mondesi, Buxton, Moncada, and Maben. Trout leads the league in walks with 36, followed by Alvarez and our Aaron Judge. On base percentage, Jorge Polanco with a staggering .455 on base percentage, followed by Trout and Bregman. Trout leading the league in slugging percentage with a .720 slugging percentage. Look at, as you can see, Trout's numbers on the screen, batting .344 with 17 homers and 52 RBIs. Yikes. He is a monster. He's also leading the league in OPS. As far as the pitching in the American League, the Yankees' James Paxton leads the American League with 9 wins so far. Again, we are at June 1st in the season, just completing May. So Paxton off to a hot start, 9-0 with a 2.06 ERA. Pleasant surprise for the Yankees here, and he's been healthy, which is important. He is followed closely by 8 wins from Carlos Rendon, and Chris Sale and a plethora of other players have 7 wins, including the Yankees' Garrett Cole. As far as saves, the Twins' Taylor Rogers leads the AL in saves with 22. Chris Sale is the ERA leader with a minuscule 1.11 ERA, followed by Verlander, Paxton, Cole, and Morton. Impressive season thus far for Chris Sale. As far as shutouts go, Justin Verlander has 4 shutouts. Yanni Chirios and Chris Sale have 3 shutouts, and then Cole, Severino, Paxton, and Greinke are all tied with 2 shutouts. Chris Sale's leading the AL in strikeouts with 111, followed by Verlander, Cole, Rendon, and Severino. Complete games, Justin Verlander leads the AL with 5, followed by Cole, Chirinos, Sale, and rounding out the top 5 would be Severino, Paxton, and Greinke, who are tied with 2 complete games. Chris Sale leads the league in innings pitched. Verlander leads in WHIP. Chris Sale leads in pitching WAR, wins above replacement with 3.6, followed closely by Verlander with 3.5. Batting WAR is being led by Alex Bregman with 4.4 batting WAR. And that'll do it for the American League. Let's go over the standings in the National League now. Well, the New York Metropolitans lead the NL East with 39 wins, tied for the most in baseball with the Chicago Cubs. They lead the Nationals by 9.5 games. The Nats, the defending champs, only playing .500 ball thus far this season, followed by the Phillies, Braves, and Marlins, who are all sub .500. The NL Central, the aforementioned Cubs, with also having 39 wins. They are in first place over the second place Cardinals, leading by 6 games there, followed by the Reds, who are playing over .500, and then the slow starting Brewers and the dreadful Pirates round out the NL Central. For the NL West, the Dodgers and their 37 wins leads the NL West by 1 game over the Colorado Rockies and 5.5 over division rival San Francisco. The Diamondbacks and Padres are both playing under .500 and will round out the NL West. Let's take a look at the league leaders in the National League so far. The Cubs' Jason Hayward is leading the National League in hitting with a .346 batting average, followed by Nolan Arenado at .340, Charlie Blackmon at .329, Starling Marte at .323, and former MVP Christian Yelich at .318. Nolan Arenado leads the league in hits with 72, followed by Chris Bryant and Freddie Freeman. At bats, Jonathan Villar of the Marlins is leading the National League in at-bats with 241. Doubles is being led by the Colorado Rockies' Charlie Blackmon, who has 20 doubles on the season. Cody Bellinger is in second with 18. Alex Dickerson and Bryce Harper are tied for third with 17. And Jonathan Villar has 16 doubles, and that is the top 5 for the National League. In doubles, triples, Chris Bryant leads the league with 6, followed by Will Myers, Aristides Aquino, Trevor Story, Fernando Tatis, and Lane Thomas. Home runs, Christian Yelich leads the NL with 21 dingers. Nolan Arenado and Kyle Schwarber have 18. Rhys Hoskins and Cody Bellinger, as well as Juan Soto, are tied with 16. Cody Bellinger of the Dodgers leads the NL in RBIs with 52. Wow, 2 months in, 52 ribbies for Cody Bellinger. Javi Baez with 48, followed by Chris Bryant, Charlie Blackmon, and Kyle Schwarber. So the Cubs, they're raking all over the place. explains those 39 wins. Arenado leading the league in runs scored with 47, followed by Bryant, Turner, Javi Baez, and Jason Hayward. Stolen bases, Trey Turner leads by 1 over Starling Marte, 23-22. Rizzo leads the league in walks with 43, followed by Suarez, Turner, Schwarber, and Soto. On base percentage is the Cubs' Jason Hayward with a .435 on base percentage. Justin Turner is second with .429, followed by Mookie Betts, who seems to be on the injured reserve, with .426. In fourth, Arenado, and fifth, Juan Soto. Slugging percentage goes to Yelich so far with a .722 slugging. The only player in the 700s. Cody Bellinger is second with a .656, followed by the usual suspects so far in all these categories: Arenado, Soto, and Hayward. OPS is also led by Yelich. Wins, the Dodgers' Walker Buehler is tied with Max Scherzer for the league lead with 9, followed by Darvish and DeGrom with 8. And Trevor Bauer, Marcus Stroman, Antonio Senzatella, Kyle Hendricks, and Michael Wacha all have 7 wins here in the National League. Seth Lugo of the Mets leads the league with 23 saves, followed by Kenley Jansen and Josh Hader. The ERA leader thus far is Walker Buehler with a 1.48 ERA. Some guys having some big years here in the National League. Herman Marquez is 203, DeGrom's 208, Scherzer's 234, Pablo Lopez of the Marlins is surprising 238. Shutouts is led by Jacob DeGrom. Strikeouts is Scherzer and DeGrom, both over 100, with Steven Strasburg coming a close third with 99 so far. Complete games, DeGrom and Kershaw both have 3, followed by a handful of guys that are tied with 2. Scherzer leads the league in innings pitched. Marquez leads in whip with a .75, followed by DeGrom, Scherzer, Buehler, and Strasburg. Pitching WAR, Strasburg leads with a 2.9. Batting WAR goes to Nolan Arenado with a 3.8 batting WAR, followed by Chris Bryant 3.6, and Javi Baez at 3.5. So that'll do it for the statistics and league leaders for the National League. If we go to the New York Yankees now, I'm just going to go to the lineups to look at their stats. We have, so the Yankee lineup thus far is batting quite well. The only real disappointment so far is Brett Gardner. Sometimes veterans take a little longer to get going. But LeMahieu's batting over 300. Judge has 17 home runs. Torres, 289 with 9 home runs. Giancarlo, 254 with 13 home runs. Aaron Hicks has been a wonderful surprise this year with 16 home runs and 40 runs batted in. He's been doing it all for the Yanks. Luke Voigt, also a pleasant surprise, 321 with 13 home runs and 34 runs batted in. Gio Urshela is picking up where he left off last season. He's batting 302 with 10 homers. Eric Kratz now, who has had 64 at-bats. For those of you following along, Gary Sanchez got hurt We picked up James McCann from Detroit. In his first game with the Yankees, he got hurt for an even longer period of time. So we called up Kratz from AAA and just decided to go with him and Kyle until Gary comes back. Gary is due back in within the week. It says 4 more days. Yeah, he could be out 1 to 6. We're not going to rush him back. Brett Gardner, 208, 3 home runs, 11 ribbies, so hopefully he'll get it going. He's kind of sputtered, which has led to Michael Tauchman getting more playing time, and he's batting .323 with 10 home runs, so Tauchman's playing time might increase over the coming months with a batting average like that. Kyle batting .247 in his 73 at-bats. Tyler Wade is batting .125 in a limited role, as is Estrada, who is batting .088. So we might look to upgrade that utility player role. And Miguel Andujar, who's getting plenty of at-bats, playing first, third, and DH, is batting .325 with 10 home runs. So the lineup is getting it done for the Yankees. As far as the pitching rotation, the starting pitching has been wonderful as well. Garrett Cole, 7-5 with a .240. Severino, 6-1 with a .285. Paxton, who we talked about earlier, 9-0 with a 2.06 ERA so far this season. Masahiro Tanaka is 4-3 with a .295, and Jordan Montgomery is 2-3 with a .399. In the bullpen, J.A. Happ has been a pleasant surprise as well. He had to make a spot start one day for a injured Yankee starter, and he's been long relief out of the pen. 6-1 with a 3.54 ERA. Now getting into the later inning guys, Adam Ottavinos pitched well with a 1.66 ERA. Zach Britton has a 1.65 ERA. Jonathan Holder, a 4.11 ERA so far this season. And then Chad Green, little disappointing thus far, 1-3 with a 4.10. Looking to improve on that. Tommy Kahnle has pitched 19 innings and has an ERA of 2.84, which brings us to Aroldis Chapman, who has 11 saves. However, he has blown 4 of those saves, and as you can see, his ERA is an 8.47. I think going into June, we are going to demote Aroldis Chapman, and I'm going to give Zach Britton a chance to close out some games because Chapman's just not getting it done. I have blown a save with him in the 10 games that I have played. He likes to blow plenty of other scenarios. So we're demoting him. Hopefully he can work out the kinks and be ready to roll. I don't know if I should trade him or and see what I could get for him, or just hopefully he works out the kinks. But we're going to demote him and promote Britton to the closer role. As far as transactions that occurred in the month of May, let's take a look at these. We're going to look at all the trades. Trades of note. Pedro Strop goes from the Reds to the Blue Jays for first baseman Christian Williams. The Nationals acquire Mike Zunino from the Rays, who actually homered against the Yankees early in the season to give the Rays a victory. He was traded for closing pitcher Sean Doolittle and catcher Israel Pineda. So the Nationals making some moves, and as are the Rays. The Rays also acquired Matt Skoll from the White Sox for Brad Dube. And then earlier in the month, big blockbuster trade with the Pirates trading Blake Snell from the Rays to the Pirates for youngster Mitch Keller, closing pitcher Keone Kela, and third baseman Colin Moran. And May 1st was when we traded for McCann, who got promptly injured. We traded the White Sox, John White and Chris Iannetta, for McCann and Esteban Quiroz. As far as the injuries are concerned, let's take a look at the Yankees injuries here. Gary Sanchez, estimated injury time 1 to 6 days. He's got 4 more days left on the list. Brandon Wagner, minor leaguer, fractured his arm. He'll be out 37 more days. And James McCann, who we talked about earlier, who tore a finger ligament diving for a foul pop-up. His estimated injury time still 1 to 2 months, and he's got 30 days left on the list. So we'll be getting him later in the year, hopefully. Hopefully he can provide offense, but in the meantime, we'll have Kratz and Kyle backing up Gary. One of those gentlemen will have to be sent down. As far as the upcoming month here, if we take a look at the calendar, I am going to be playing this game in Seattle, pitching with Garrett Cole back-to-back, and then I'm going to quick manage to the next week, where I will play 2 games in this week, one against Kansas City and one against Boston. So that's what we have coming up. I will be playing 6 games in the month of June. In March, April, and May, I started 10 games, winning 7. So now the next couple months, I will be playing 6 games a month. And that will do it for this episode. We're all caught up to date. We are at June 1st in the season. I thank you for listening. Take care.